All right, what's up? So, I'm going to tell you right now that I've never done anything like this. I've never done a video like this where I'm showing like a YouTube reaction. So, technologically, it's probably not going to be the best. I implore you to have some patience with me. I know it's stretched out on the screen, you know. I don't do stuff like this, but I really wanted to do it. So hopefully it works out. And you can hear me and you can hear the video and everything. But I'm extremely excited for this game. Let's make myself a little bit smaller. I don't need to be the focus of attention for this video. This is Hogwarts Legacy, and this is the first gameplay trailer, essentially, that they've released. They have teased this game for like 2 years now, I feel. And I have to tell you that I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. And for someone like me, this is like a dream come true. I'm sure you've heard this sentiment from plenty of people. This is like the dream come true game that we've all basically been waiting for. And it's been coming for years. Like, why the hell have they not made a game like this? What are they thinking? Why have they not made a single player like adventure campaign like RPG style Harry Potter game where you go to Hogwarts? What the fuck are they thinking? Make a game like this and you will make billions of fucking dollars. Just do it. What are you waiting for? That's basically what we've all been saying to ourselves. Like, make this game. It's time, baby. Make this game. Get the money in your pockets. And they're doing it now. So this game could be absolutely horrible. I probably would still be a bit satisfied with it as a huge Harry Potter fan. So before we actually get into watching this trailer, and I've already seen this trailer, so this is not a first reaction. What I'm essentially going to do is pause the trailer and talk about my thoughts with it. I thought I was going to write a video essay, or I was going to make just a video. I thought this was probably the best way. There's plenty, if you want to see somebody just reacting to this trailer for the first time, there are thousands of those on YouTube, so I implore you to watch those. There's a lot of good ones. But if you want to see somebody's thoughts on it, I'm going to give you my thoughts. So before we get into actually watching it, I just wanted to give you a quick backstory. I am a big Harry Potter fan. I guess I've never talked about it on the channel, but I have always been a huge Harry Potter fan. As a child, I was like freakishly obsessed with Harry Potter. And I guess, I don't know, it sounds a little like, I don't know what the word is, but like, I don't like the films. Plenty of people like the films, and hey, if you like the movies, that's cool. But you know, I read Harry Potter when it came out in America. I read it in 1998 when it was released. It was released in 1997 in the United Kingdom, and so I really was with Harry Potter really since it was released in America, and I was really into it. I really enjoyed it, and I believe the first three books, I think Prisoner of Azkaban was released in like 1999, and I read them as they came out. So this was before the films even came out, and I'll tell you, I distinctly remember 1999 reading those books. It was very popular even back then. I mean, even before the movies came out, Harry Potter was extremely popular in America, at least. I'm sure in the United Kingdom as well. But when the movies came out, it like went like crazy, right? It went nuts. And then the movies, as they went on, it just went insane and it got crazy popular. And now it's like I mean, I don't even need to tell you really. It's one of the most popular franchises that has ever been released in the history of the universe, really. And I just don't like the movies. I love the first two movies, the Chris Columbus movies. I really like them. I thought that he really nailed the style of the books. And I kind of liked the third movie because it was fairly close to the book with some pretty unforgivable omissions in my opinion, but I still liked it. I didn't like the stylistic change that Alfonso Cuarón went with. But then from the fourth movie on, I was like, I'm done with this. This is not my thing. I don't like what they're doing. I totally understand it. It became extremely popular. So almost... I don't know if this is an accurate statement, but almost now the films are almost more popular than the books. There's plenty of people who have seen the films who have never even read the books. So I totally understand them just going, we're going to do like the Hollywood thing with these movies. And they feel like Hollywood movies to me, right? Like I just can't watch them. The fourth through film 8. They're not for me. If you like them, more power to you, but I can't deal with them. They're not for me. I don't watch them. I don't like them. I've seen them. I do not like them. So in this game, I'm thinking like, they're not going to do the book thing, of course. That's a fantasy in my head that's never going to come back, right? There's never going to be a game that comes out that's going to touch upon the lore built upon those books, right? That's not going to happen. It's too popular. There's a fucking Harry Potter theme park, for crying out loud. It's not going to happen. But if we can get something that is basically the first 2 or 3 games of Harry Potter on steroids, I'll be happy. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets. I played the GameCube, PS2, Xbox versions. I also played the PC versions, and those were a bundle of fun, man. You got to explore Hogwarts, and of course it was very limited because of the technology back in the day. But there was I'm actually replaying Sorcerer's Stone for GameCube, and it's not amazing, but there's a surprising amount of fun to be had there. That you get to collect all the chocolate frog cards, the Witcher Wizard cards. You get to buy power-ups, and there's a surprising amount of little secrets here and there hidden throughout Hogwarts. And it's expanded upon in the second game and in Prisoner of Azkaban. And it's pretty fun. The other games are garbage, but those games are really fun. Quidditch World Cup, even, if you've ever played that. Again, not amazing, but it scratches the itch. Do you know what I mean? So I really am into those games. I think that they're fun. And I basically, in my head, I'm like, if this is just a single player experience that gives me that on steroids, as a modern game could, I'll be satisfied. And so I'm going to go through this trailer now and let you know my thoughts, okay? It's going to be a long video. It's going to be a long ride. If you're here, you're probably into Harry Potter. Okay, all right, here we go. Let's start. Sorry it's all fucked up, I know, but whatever. Whatever. Okay. I'm going to pause it a lot too, all right? You know what you're here for. Avalanche Games. I've seen this trailer like 30 times, but we'll be pausing it. Okay, so all of this footage has been done on a PS5, so it's interesting. Not a PC. And there's some changes here and there.
What do you think you're doing here?
Got the centaurs. Big ass dragon character. All right. All right, so that's basically this little teaser trailer, and now we're going to get into the video proper, where they're going to go through the mechanics in detail, and I'll talk about those. And of course, Hogwarts is looking absolutely fucking beautiful. This is a dream come true. Hopefully we get to explore it in full detail.
Welcome to Hogwarts Legacy. You're a new student at the
Turn this video down a tick.
Witchcraft and Wizardry.
It's looking beautiful.
Unique ability to manipulate powerful ancient magic hidden in the wizarding world. You'll need to uncover what's behind the return of this forgotten magic and who is seeking to harness it to destroy it.
Okay, so I wanted to point this out. I've seen a couple people, and it's totally justified, like the goblins are essentially the main villain in this story. And some people were like, I don't know. I can kind of understand that because Voldemort has been essentially the main villain, of course, of Harry Potter, and he's a great villain. But you remember, there was the there was the Goblin Rebellion of the 1890s, right? So that's a cool thing that they chose, and I think that actually could work. Of course, goblins are not like as foreboding as someone like Lord Voldemort, but I think that I don't know. I think it could be interesting. So I'm keeping an open mind. I think it could be interesting. And I must say that I think that when I saw that, I immediately thought of the Goblin Rebellion, and it gained some points in my mind because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that was mentioned in the films. So I was like, oh, are they going to go with some book stuff? Because the original Harry Potter games did have a lot of book stuff in them that was not in the films, and I always liked that.
The fate of the entire wizarding world.
All right.
But before you can study magic,
Great Hall
and
looking
begin to
great,
solve
of
these
course.
mysteries, you must create the witch or wizard.
Okay, and this is fantastic. Now, what I think overall is going to happen, I think it's going to be. I think that a lot of people are thinking this is going to be like an MMO, or it's not an MMO, or an RPG on the level of like Fallout or something with like lots of choices. I don't think that there's going to be. I think that they're playing this up for the trailer. I think that there's not going to be a multitude of choices that are like insane, but I think that there will be like a light side, dark side sort of thing going on. I think that you just, they're showing this off at the start. You get to choose your character. Do you want to be male or female? You get to choose your race and make your character look like you. I don't think that that's really going to play much of a role other than what your character looks like. But nonetheless, I think that's really cool that are going to be able to play as a character that looks similar to you because, of course, like we all want to fucking go to Hogwarts. That's what we all want to do. Just give us that. So the fact that they let us make what our character looks like is cool. And it seems like they're really inclusive, this kind of company. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a cool thing. In your house, of course. I think that your house is going to be something that you probably choose. I don't think that they're going to pick it for you. I think that would be too risky, I'm a Slytherin. I'd love to play as a Slytherin, but, I think that they'll let you choose your house. And they got the common rooms, and they're pretty accurate. And the Slytherin common room. The Slytherin common room, of course, is in the dungeons. And in the books, it's stated that the Slytherin common room is underneath the Black Lake, so that there's actually portholes and stuff where you can see squids going by, and you can hear the water and everything. I don't know how accurate that will be, but at least it's in the dungeons. I don't believe they ever showed off the Hufflepuff common room or even really talked about it in the books, so I think they came up with it for this, and it seems pretty accurate to what you would expect. Gryffindor. Hufflepuff looks pretty cozy.
So
you are the new student.
You'll begin your studies attending Charms, Defense Against the Dark.
Another thing I wanted to say is that a lot of people had the impression, it's like a Hogwarts simulator, so you're going to be going through classes, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think you will go to classes as you have in previous games, but I think going to classes is probably going to be relegated to like story-based events. You'll probably go to classes when it's required for like a story to progress the story. I don't think it's going to be a simulator. But honestly, that's fine with me. It was like that in the very old games that came out 20 years ago, and I was fine with it because it was fun. If they give you, spells and abilities in your classes, and then you get to go use them, that's fine with me. You get to go explore with those abilities that you learn.
Oh, hello.
This fiery redhead woman as your teacher.
In our garden.
Shall we begin?
I want to say, you can see my mouse. Somebody pointed out he's got the Slytherin snake on him. The Charms teacher. He's probably the Slytherin head of house, right?
Welcome
So
to
smart,
year 5 of Charms. Now,
someone
this will be
came
a
up with that.
crucial year in your education on the art of charm work, but I am confident that we will take hold with the passion and rigor requisite of such a challenge.
The best way to practice.
And we get to
is
the
by
dueling.
We'll start with you two.
Time for a proper Hogwarts.
That chick's got gray hair back there.
Welcome.
And here comes the dueling, the combat, essentially. And I think it looks good. We'll talk about it. Okay, so the combat, they're going to show it off in detail, but it looks more like animated, almost cartoony-like. I don't have a problem with that. In the older games, you would get a spell and you would assign it to a button, and you would basically use that spell for like almost like a contextual sort of thing. And in this game, it seems more combat-like. It almost seems like Witcher 3 mixed with like Jedi Fallen Order. I get vibes of Jedi Fallen Order for some reason, and we'll see that more in the gameplay. And I don't think that I'm going to have a problem with that, because I think in a game where there's a lot of combat, they need to have something like that. I don't think spells are going to be quite like, I feel like I'm going to cast Flipendo right now. So you press a button and that's the button assigned to Flipendo. I think it's going to be more contextual based on what you have in your arsenal. And I don't know if I necessarily have an issue with that. I think it might be pretty fun. yeah, at the end of the day, we're going to be getting to do spells and shit, and I think that's awesome. So I kind of like that. Some parries, like you're gonna be there'll be a parry button that does like Protego or something, you know.
Not bad for a beginner.
Potions is one of the
Potions.
most challenging and hazardous subjects
I look
taught
forward to
at
this.
school.
Making Wiggenweld
Professors
potion and stuff
can
like
learn
that.
to cast spells, grow magical plants, brew potions, and more. In between classes, you'll be able to explore
And it just
the
looks
castle
so good.
famous for its secret.
Like, this just looks really good, man. I mean, I always am very cautious when I watch stuff like this because it's designed totally to grasp your attention and to get you to get excited about the game. But it does look like they're adding a lot more than we all expected and adding a lot of what we wanted. Exploring the castle.
And mysteries.
There's the
You'll
fat
discover
lady.
Dungeons and secret passageways.
This kind of looks like Gringotts or something. Yeah, stuff, contextual spells like that.
That will require
I did point this out when I was streaming a couple days ago. They're talking about a lot of these little secrets. It does get me a little bit worried that like you would do. It's like, oh, there's all these secrets to discover and puzzles and stuff, and it's like, okay, so he does Accio on a painting, and there's a chest behind it. And what's in the chest? It's probably going to be like a potion ingredient that you have 1,000 of to make a Wiggenweld potion that increases your health. That you have so many, you know what I mean? Like it feels like it might get a little samey after a while. This is one example that they've showed, right? So of course it could be much, and I'm sure it will be much more than that. But in gauging my expectations, I guess I should say, it seems like I should temper my expectations. You know, I feel like it will get a little samey, as a lot of games these days are very samey. I'm still excited though.
skill and a clever mind to
They'll
solve.
show that off a little bit later too.
You may even find yourself in iconic locations.
And of course, this was the first thing where I was like, maybe this might be a little more in depth than I thought, because they're showing the kitchen with the house elves, right? And that's something they never showed off in the films. They of course talked about it in the book. There was the whole campaign that Hermione had about the treatment of house elves that was never touched upon in the films. So the fact that they included this here is really cool. They're also going to show off the prefix bathroom,
Explore before.
I believe. Yeah, the prefix bathroom, which I don't remember if they showed off in the fourth film or not, but it was definitely touched upon in the book.
1800s. So while the common rooms and classes may be familiar, most of your
There's a Slytherin common room. I love it, baby.
However, you may recognize a few faces.
Nearly headless Nick, of course,
Good fun. Once Sir Patrick lets me join the Headless Hunt, I'll be right there.
carrying a big cut of meat.
This offering is sure to win them over.
Don't forget why I'm here, sir.
You'll
Per-
come to know
I
the
think this is
effective
Professor Binns. I saw this and I'm like, is that Professor Binns? I didn't know when he died, but he's not in the movies either. Professor Binns is the history of magic teacher who I think he like fell asleep outside like the faculty room and died in a fire and just got up and went to work. So that's cool that they included that again.
witches and wizards in
It
class
made me think.
and while completing side assignments that are part of a special curriculum, ones designed to help you catch up with the other fifth years at your own speed.
It's very cool. Okay, I saw that little. What was that, like 3 seconds? They showed this Quidditch thing. And the rest of this video, they showed nothing about Quidditch, which gets me very worried. There's a lot shown off. You know, if there's no Quidditch, it's not the end of the world, but I would really love to play Quidditch. That'd be a big thing for me. I loved Quidditch World Cup and playing it. It was a lot of fun. I just thought it was weird that if they're not showing off, they go in so in depth to the rest of these mechanics in the game, that if they don't show off Quidditch, it's probably not in the game. But why would they show that little clip off? I don't know. It was very weird, but I really hope it's in the game. It's probably not going to be, but a man can hope.
Opportunities for adventure abound in the area surrounding Hogwarts.
All right.
The magical abilities you learn to master through your schoolwork will soon become tested. As you
Little
unravel
frame
a
rate drops.
dangerous mystery by working alongside
Frame rate's not great.
and yet enigmatic Professor Fig to try and discover if the rumors of a mounting goblin rebellion hold any weight, and if the safety of Hogwarts lies in the balance.
I have.
Ranrock.
Opinions differ as to how great a threat he really is.
Yeah, I expect the story to be like pretty mediocre,
Hogwarts
but
is
that's
capable
fine.
of so much more than people realize.
The wizarding world of this era is fraught with dangers.
And here's some of the combat, which I'm actually into.
Goblins. and sinister witches and wizards, all willing to fight, even kill, to achieve their own
Even kill.
goals.
Some Avada Kedavra in here.
There's an uneasy alliance between the goblins and dark wizards.
You said you could get to the child when they came to
I think the combat looks good. I mean, I know it doesn't have the weightiness of the first couple games where, again, like I said, you assign a spell. But I honestly think that it's necessary to have some sort of a flowy combat system. And it's like, we're doing spells, man. We're not shooting like bullets. We're doing spells. I think this is what we all wanted. So I think that the combat looks pretty good. It reminds me a lot of Witcher, with the highlighting of the enemies and everything. I'm into it.
needed was a distraction. I gave you a distraction.
I just watched a student take down your distraction.
Oh boy,
Who is this child?
cup of coffee.
You're not telling me.
But perhaps you shouldn't involve yourself with that just yet. Let's go.
All right. This looks cool as hell. Here comes the spells in combat, which I pretty much already touched on. I'll tell you one thing. Was watching this. I think HDR is like the biggest thing for games. HDR is great for movies. A lot of people are big on resolution for games now, like playing in 4K or 1440p or whatever. But really, like playing with a really good HDR is, I think, what makes it, because HDR makes things pop off the screen and seem like realistically bright. And I think in a game like this, if it has good HDR implementation, which has been kind of iffy with games, I think that could make this game look very beautiful. Sparks and spells and combat and stuff, doing a spell and just having it so vividly bright that it's like popping off your screen. If you've played a game with excellent HDR, you'll know what I mean. It's indescribable. It's something that you have to see. An SDR game. It's not. I can't even describe it. I think that this is a game that if the HDR implementation is very good, I think that it would be unbelievable with the spells and the effects like that. I just wanted to say that. It was something I thought when I first saw this. Stuff like that. That would be, if you had HDR and you cast a spell in the game and you had great HDR, that would just be so, like, it would blind your eyes looking at it. It's very cool when you play a game with good HDR.
Enemies possess unique defensive and offensive abilities, including blasting curses, stunning spells, enchanted weaponry, and more. While
Casting
some may
Stupefy
attack
and stuff.
directly, others might enchant and incapacitate you. Mastery of the shield charm allows you to
Some
deflect
Protego
ranged spells
or
and
Expelliarmus,
direct
whatever you want
weapons
to call it.
strikes.
Expelliarmus, I feel like in the books, Expelliarmus is like the disarming spell, right? Doesn't it just knock the wand out of the hand? I feel like they turned it into an offensive spell in the movies and kind of in the games to a point. I think in the third game, Expelliarmus was like a shield charm, which I guess in the books would probably be Protego, but we'll see what they do with that.
Counterattack with powerful stunning
Killing
shots,
people.
allowing you to follow up with extended spell combinations.
Yeah, I like it. I like this combat. I'm into it.
Students who
It's cool with
become
me.
particularly adept at spell casting will
Killing
find
zombies
ways
and
to
Infuri and
exploit
stuff.
their enemy's weakness.
This is cool as fuck. He's like apparating. They keep saying dark magic, but I'm like, that looks like apparition to me. That's cool as hell. Like there's some dodges, like there's Dark Souls style dodges in here. I think it's cool. And it looks like, I don't know, it looks like apparating or some shit. It's cool as hell. Skill tree probably.
Slam with Descendo. Roast with Incendio.
Oh my god, we got a lot more to go through this. I'm sorry it's so long, but
Enemies using various
I'm
finishes.
excited.
You can even use the mysterious powerful magic
Yeah, here we go.
professors
That's
do not
cool as hell.
understand to obliterate your
And then just kill them. Just murder them.
Mixing and matching dozens of spells will let you define your combat style. On your path
I like
to
it.
become the ultimate duelist.
You know, it looks like a modern game, right? But that's cool with me. As a fan, that's cool with me. The combat and the flow of it, from what it looks very modern. it looks like stuff we've seen before. And again, like I just said, that's fine with me. Actually, I think that's more than fine with me. That's something I think might actually be quite fun and a good flow. It's the extras that they added I wasn't expecting. I think I'm really into.
Perhaps you'd be good enough to blast each other to pieces on your own time.
Defense against the dark arts.
In addition to classes and spells, you'll have access to a deep
Okay, so I paused it here when I first saw it. We have a skill tree, essentially. But if you look, we got character, inventory, talents, collections, challenges, map, owl post, quests, and settings. So I'm wondering if there's going to be chocolate frog cards, witcher wizard cards in this game. I think that they would have to add that into this game. It was such a stupidly fun thing to add in the old games, and I would really enjoy that. It feels like that kind of game. I think that it's going to be like that.
upgrades, talents, and skills.
Nice
to aid
open
your
world,
progression
too,
as
which
a wizard.
I wasn't expecting. I thought this was going to take place solely in Hogwarts, and it seems like it's going to be greater than that. Like, you'll see there's a lot of areas. You get to go to Hogsmeade and all these sorts of places. My only concern is that Hogwarts wouldn't be as detailed because they have all these other places. My biggest want for this game is that Hogwarts is, like, fully fleshed out. It could just be Hogwarts fully fleshed out and I'd be satisfied. And the grounds. So I really hope that Hogwarts is like really, really detailed in this game and that you get to go to all those places. It seems like that, but remember, in the back of my mind, I'm being very cautious about this sort of thing.
Complete challenges throughout
Little
the
side
world to
quests,
earn
bullshit
experience.
side quests and
Level
stuff.
up your abilities by choosing talents to upgrade your spells. Plants,
Invisibility,
and
which is
potions
interesting
to
without the
increase their
invisibility
power.
cloak. I don't know how
Decide
canon
which
that is,
talents
but
best fit your
I don't know.
playstyle to allow you to focus on your favorite types of magic.
Just killing people.
You can also loot, buy, or craft your own magical gear.
Cool.
that
Well,
will
power-ups,
increase your
crafting,
offensive
it's all
and
good to me. I like that
defensive
sort of stuff. I
capabilities
like
in
exploration. I like the open world
combat.
crafting sort of
To allow
bullshit.
for greater abilities for your chosen playstyle.
Use a strong, even motion when
Making some
crushing
potions.
your ingredients.
Beasts. It's not care of magical creatures, it's beasts.
Spells are not the only tools at your disposal in combat. As you hone your
Make some
wand
Wiggenweld
skills,
potion.
You can continue to further your magical education at Hogwarts, progressing your development as a witch or wizard. Brew potions that can increase your power.
Yeah, I
when
like
needed.
this.
Grow and deploy magical plants to
A lot of people mention that this game feels like Bully to them with a Harry Potter skin. And I could certainly see that, but to me really, from what I'm seeing, is giving me like a Witcher 3 sort of vibe with a Harry Potter skin. And honestly, I'm into that.
and keep your enemies at
I'm really getting a Witcher 3 sort of vibe. Not just from what I'm seeing, but like
You can even
from like the
unleash
combat and
deadly
everything.
mandrake seedlings to incapacitate unsuspecting enemies. In Beasts
I'm into
class,
that.
you will learn about a variety of magical beasts you might encounter, both at school and as you explore the world surrounding the castle and its grounds.
Some taming.
Goal of today is to remind all of
And this looks fucking awesome. I don't think anyone thinks this looks bad. Riding a broomstick around. I mean, I fly the broomstick around in the old games on a map that is like the size of my house, and I still have fun. So this is something that I think would be very fun for someone like me. I just really hope that Quidditch is in the game. That would be outstanding. If they put Quidditch in the game, I almost feel like they're going to have to. If Quidditch doesn't come in this game at launch, I honestly feel like it will be a DLC or something, because it seems like the developers of this game, and of course it depends on the publishers and the distributors, of course, but it seems like the developers of this game really know what people want. It seems like almost that's why it was delayed so long. So even if Quidditch is not at launch, I feel like maybe I'm wishing for too much, perhaps. But I think they're not dumb developers from what I'm seeing. It seems like they're really in tune with Harry Potter, and it seems like they are acutely aware that people want Quidditch,
Flight is
right?
highly recommended so that you may travel around the world.
I know it's not an online game, but online Quidditch would be like, that could be a game in itself. Companions. I wasn't expecting companions. I think that's very cool. We get little side quests with them.
As you develop relationships with these schoolmates,
And whether or not these become, you have to do one per playthrough or something like that. I don't know.
and over time, you'll learn their stories.
Not Sai Onai, I think her name is.
This is our chance.
Natsai Onai is a brave adventurer driven by the justice she seeks.
And then Poppy Sweeting.
Poppy Sweeting has a kind heart and loves
I
magical
don't remember
beasts.
the Slytherin's
They deal
name.
with them more easily than with humans.
But what happens now?
Unafraid of detention or breaking
And there's
rules,
Peeves. There's Peeves. Okay, I'm not going to disparage anybody, but I did watch a lot of reaction videos where people just saw Peeves and were like, I'm like, dude, it's Peeves. He's never been in the movies. He's been in the games, but there's Peeves. So that's fucking awesome. I love that. That to me tells me that they're like, they're digging in, man. Like, that's awesome. I'm glad to see stuff like that. They could have easily made this game totally to like the movies, you know, like the modern headcanon of this game or of this series, this universe. But it really feels like they're digging into stuff like that. And I do like Peeves' design. I think it's jokey and fun.
Sallow, a charismatic Slytherin
Sebastian Sallow, okay.
Hufflepuffs cannot reverse a curse.
with a troubling family secret.
With an asshole, pure blood father.
That reality, the better.
You'll meet these students and more as you explore common rooms, hallways between classes,
Hell yeah.
and regular gathering areas.
It looks great. And then the room of requirement. We're gonna get to an issue here. We're gonna get to an issue. That's my one issue with this, other than not having Quidditch, perhaps.
One of the most remarkable secrets of Hogwarts is known as the Room of Requirement.
Yeah, I like all this stuff. Okay, first off, let me pause this real quick. Moonstone, 959 out of 40. This is some microtransaction shit, if I've ever seen it in my life. As soon as I saw this, I said, hold the phone. That's microtransaction stuff. You're going to see in a minute. He's going to he's going to go to make something and there's going to be a timer.
You're introduced to this space that
And this is a
seems to
cool
sense
idea.
what you need.
It's a very cool idea to have the room of requirement like this. Here we go. 23 minutes, 52 seconds to make
Then
this.
provides it for you.
Here we go.
Since you need to catch up to your peers, the room provides space for you to sow and harvest.
24 minutes, 25 minutes. That is microtransaction stuff if I've ever seen it before. Having a currency called Moonstone, 25-minute timers. As soon as I saw that, I said, oh, it's all for nothing. I don't fuck around with microtransactions. I don't. I'm sorry. It ruins games for me. It completely ruins games. I know that's the way of the world now. I know that's how modern games work. But I don't mess around with that. If I see that in a game, it ruins it. One of the developers of this game went on Twitter and said there are no microtransactions in this game. Very, doing damage control. Because plenty of people saw that and said, "What the hell is that? You really gonna show that? That it's like almost like, are you showing that to just kind of wink, like let us know?" And this guy went on Twitter and said, "There are not going to be microtransactions in this game." Now, I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I don't know. This game to me would be ruined if it had microtransactions. If you're cool with it, that's fine. But it ruins a game for me. It really does. It severely impacts my enjoyment of a game. And I don't know if I believe if there won't be. There's been numerous cases of games where developers have said, there are no microtransactions in this game, we assure you. And then the game comes out and there are no microtransactions, and then they put them in the game. And so they lied. So it's like, I don't think people believe that people can lie. People lie. Game developers lie. It happens all the time. So I'm not disparaging this game. I'm not saying that there aren't going to be microtransactions, or there are. But seeing something like that is very concerning and weird to me. Having somebody that is working on the game show up and say, I want to assure you there are no microtransactions in the game. If there aren't, and they're being truthful, I think it's very odd that then they would implement a sort of system in this game that looks so much like microtransactions. And I've seen some people say it's probably just because they don't want you to get overpowered, or they don't want you to be able to like mass craft stuff and get a bunch of XP. I can understand that. But if you're actually not truthfully going to have microtransactions in the game, then I think it's a very odd choice to implement a feature such as this that looks so much like microtransactions. And if it's truly the case, then it does clue me in. Maybe this game is actually very, very large and in a bigger scope than we're expecting. If there are crafting mechanics where you're expected to wait 30 minutes to craft some sort of thing, if that's the case and the game is not unbalanced, which it could be, that's quite a long time to wait. That means that the game is probably very vast in scope. So it's either an extremely vast sort of game and we're not seeing some things, or there's just going to be microtransactions in the game. I just wanted to point that out because that was my biggest concern when I saw this section of this trailer. It very much concerned me. I know that they said there aren't. I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that. I'll see it. I believe it when I see it. I just wanted to point that out. Just something to say.
Upgrade your gear.
And then we'll get into this terrarium or whatever they call it.
A house elf named Deke helps you discover vivarium.
Vivarium.
Allow you to nurture your own menagerie of magical beasts.
Right. This is very cool.
Deke isn't sure. Only one way to find out.
You can freely
Yeah.
customize this
Stuff like this. Again, using moonstones. I've seen a lot of people get very excited over stuff like this. I think it's very cool. This could be just a bullshit thing that they showed. And I don't mean to be disparaging again or seem negative, but this is a thing where it looks really cool that you get to go into your little vivarium and make this thing and you get the little pets and stuff. But I think that's a thing that if it's just surface level, it could run thin like instantly for someone like me. Like, okay, cool. I get to make a little house, little hut. I get to pet a cat. And then what? That's it? Like, what's the point, you know? Just pointing it out. This if there's nothing more to gain, like if you don't get XP, or maybe like if you make this a certain way, your cat gives you a skill bonus or something. That's something I could be into. But if it's much just like doing this, this is something where I think like there's like a honeymoon phase of watching this, and you go, "Whoa, that's so cool." But then when you actually get into it in the game, it's like, "Yeah, okay, that's cool. What do you do?" Like, you know, like I guess I'm gonna go visit my vivarium and there's my house and my cat. Okay, bye. And then you leave, right? And it's done. So that's something where I think that this might just be like a little added feature that's cool, but it doesn't really do anything for me. It could be, and I did think about this, it could be like the Chow Garden in Sonic Adventure. You don't really do anything in there. There's not much to it, but it's kind of fun. I used to spend a lot of time in there. So it's both sides of the coin. I'm a little skeptical of this. But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of like stuff like this at the same point. It's kind of fun. If it's very surface level, then it's bullshit for me. But if there's a cool level of customization, it's a fun little thing that I actually kind of like. Just wanted to point that out. Using moonstones again. Moonstones better be very, very prominent in this game, if the way they're showing them off. And then we're riding the hippogriff, which is wonderful. I enjoy that. Beyond the castle walls.
Not everything you need on your journey is available at
We got Hogsmeade.
You'll want to visit
I was like, I hope Hogsmeade is in this game. That's probably too much to ask, and sure enough, Hogsmeade pops
the
up.
nearby wizarding village of Hogsmeade, where loads of shops and vendors can provide.
And I think that Hogsmeade is going to be very surface level. I think a lot of stuff in this game is going to be very surface level. Again, this is my point I've been reiterating, that like, what do you do in Hogsmeade? It's probably just going to be like you just go to a shop and buy an item that you could probably craft somewhere else or something. I don't think that there's going to be like this insane level of detail. Maybe not detail. I think the detail is actually pretty there, but insane level of like gameplay that people are expecting. I think everything is going to be very surface level, and that might be disappointing to some people. Like you just go spend a couple sickles and get like a Wiggenweld potion ingredient or something like that. But if there's enough of it, I think for people that are big fans, the fact that there's an abundance of these things can really create not an illusion, but can really get you into the game. I think. I don't want you to think I'm disparaging this game. I'm being very, very cautious about this. I'm just pointing out what I see. I'm very excited.
Ingredients and recipes.
I wouldn't be excited if I'm not going on for 40 minutes talking about this. Be a hell of a video to upload.
Also has its dangerous side. A band of dark witches and wizards emboldened by the turmoil of the times wander the village outskirts.
All right. Wandering mobs and stuff.
Or defeat them. As you explore,
The seasons.
The world surrounding Hogwarts is alive with
We're gonna get some snow.
wonders and areas of
You're gonna be able to put on your winter cloak.
unusual interest. As
The snow.
year progresses,
I think this game's probably going to be 1 year. I think some people are saying, oh, is it going to be years 5 through 7? I don't think so. I think it's just going to be year 5. But the fact that they went with the changing seasons and they said dynamic weather, we'll see how extreme that is. If it rains occasionally and there's thunderstorms, I think that's just a very cool thing to implement. I'm down with it. I don't think that, you might be able to go change into your winter cloak. Or, clothes will probably be cosmetic like at, the shops in Hogsmeade. They didn't talk about Diagon Alley. We'll see how you get into Hogwarts, but nonetheless, if you want to role play, I think that there's probably going to be winter cloaks, stuff that won't have any effect on the gameplay, but will be able to get you into it. I think that's really cool. These, again, are things that I think this game is going to be a touch above mediocre. I think that this is going to be like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10 game for me, just based on what I've seen. And that's fine. I think there are things that let me get into it as a big fan.
And climates will fill the sky with lightning or sunshine.
It's awesome. It looks good. It looks good.
Snow or rain. Unique wizarding
This is fucking cool, man. This is the shit I wanted to do as a kid. And like and then they show these two little hamlets, and they both basically look the same. To me, this looks like shops in Red Dead Redemption 2. The shops, there's not much to do, like you go up to the shop and just buy shit. There's not much to it. And they all kind of look the same. But it's like, it's cool that they're there. That's how this reminded me of Red Dead Redemption 2. I got vibes of Witcher and Jedi Fallen Order combat for some reason, and then a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's like, as a huge Harry Potter fan, that's fine. Little side quests. There's little Merlin puzzles. Here they show them.
May very well have been designed by Merlin himself when he was a student at Hogwarts.
Yeah, I'm into how much they put in.
Roam the lands outside the castle walls.
Some sort of corruption, some sort of scourge.
While others are at risk of poachers and their traps.
Little side collectibles.
You can rescue them and restore them to health in the room of requirement.
This is stuff that will probably get very tiring very quickly, but the fact that there's so much of it, like I said before, I think is very cool. And this look, I don't know what the fuck this is. This looks like Gringotts. Little dungeons. This reminded me of Elden Ring. I don't want to compare this to Elden Ring. This is not going to be like that, but I just that there's little side dungeons that are optional reminded me of that. That's very cool. Go through a little side dungeon and get an upgrade or something. This is cool as fuck. I saw that and it like knocked me out of my fucking chair. I was not expecting to see the killing curse in this game. I don't think that this game is going to have a morality system in it that is very in-depth. I think it's going to be like you can make a couple choices and there might be 1 or 2 endings. And, if you choose to be a dark wizard, you might unlock like unforgivable curses. But the fact that it's in the game, like Avada Kedavra has to be in the game, right? Now, this isn't gameplay. This is a cinematic little thing they just showed. But there's no way it's not in the game, right? If they showed it. That would be the biggest disgrace in gaming if they put this in the fucking trailer and you didn't get to cast Avada Kedavra in the game. That is amazing. Like, I don't know which way I'm going to go now. Again, I don't know how in-depth it's going to be. I don't think that it's going to be as in-depth as some people are thinking. But the fact that it's got to be in the game, right? It makes me wonder, like, do I want to go down the dark path to cast that? Because that thing's just going to smoke someone immediately. That's very cool. The spell effects look very good in this game. I have to give them that. You might not agree with the combat system from what they've showed us. And certainly, this game is coming out in holiday 2022. They're going to show us more gameplay for sure. But I'm really liking the combat, personally. And it just all looks really good. I'm very impressed with what they've shown us, the multitude of what they've shown us. Despite my reservations,
uncover ancient secrets,
looks good.
Combat mystical threats, learn long-forgotten mysteries, become the witch or wizard you want to be, as you leave your unique mark on the wizarding world.
Wow, it's all looking very good.
Here,
Hogwarts Legacy, riding that hippogriff around. All right, and then there's also a developer section if you want to watch that separately. Yeah, I'm very, very cautious, like I said. This could be the big... I mean, we've seen this shit before. Like, Cyberpunk was, like, so hyped up, and that game is fucking horrible. That's not even a game. That's a scam. That's a multi-million-dollar scam. That's not a video game to me. If you like it, no offense, but that's not a fucking video game, right? it could be something like that. But we'll see. I have a feeling there are very minor details that make me think. Like, for instance, things that are weird, like the Ravenclaw colors. In the movies, they're silver and blue, right? We all know Ravenclaw's blue. In the books, though, they're bronze or like they're gold and blue, and they're that color in this game. Like, why did they change that? Why didn't they just go with what everyone knows from the movies? The movies are obviously like super popular now. The Cursed Child play and the Fantastic Beast films. Why didn't they just do that? So there's like a level of detail here that is making me think this might be a little generic, but there are some details in here. And I'm the kind of person that really gets into the details of a game because it makes me feel like I'm in the game. And I have a feeling that there are going to be a lot of details in this game for fans of both the books and films. And they're trying to be very inclusive that I think are going to elevate the game. And I feel like it's March, right? It's the end of March, and this game's probably not going to come out till December. I wouldn't be surprised if this game got delayed till 2023. I know it's been a long time coming, but I really do think they'll delay it again. I feel like they're putting a lot of work into this. So we're certainly going to see more gameplay of this. They're going to go way more in depth with gameplay, I feel. They're not going to show a 15-minute gameplay trailer and not go more into depth before it comes out. I really think they will. So I'm very excited to see what they do. Very interesting that they chose State of Play to show this off. It's not a PlayStation exclusive, but that's what they chose. So perhaps it's like they're thinking with PS5 in mind. I don't know. We'll see how like performance is with everything. But yeah, it looks really good. I'm very cautious, but I'm very, very excited. This is the game I have wanted. This is absolutely the game I've wanted. What do I want to see that they haven't showed off? Fucking Quidditch. I want Quidditch to be in this game. Please, please, please put Quidditch in this game. I want to see little activities like dueling clubs. They showed dueling in school, and they showed, of course, combat, but I want to see dueling clubs. Like, I want to be able to go, like, do dueling clubs and, like, fight people in school. I want to see wizard chess. I don't think those are things that would be that hard to implement. Just basically put chess in the game and maybe make the chess a little animated or something. It doesn't have to be just the little tiny things, like maybe even wizard crackers or something funny, but like put wizard chess in the game. Maybe you can collect different wizard chess sets or something that have different statistics or something. That might be asking for too much, but even if it's just a basic chess mechanic, it's those little tiny details that really get me into it. So I know this was an insanely long video, but I just had so many thoughts. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, really into the books. Like I said, I'm not really into the movies, but I'm big into the books. I love the universe. I've played a lot of the games. I've played all the games, really, that I can think of. Some of them are absolutely terrible, but some are very fun. And I think that this could certainly be the ultimate Harry Potter Wizarding World sort of game. It could be what we're all looking for. So even if this game comes out and is shitty, then they have a great marketing team, because this is one of the best reveal trailers I've ever seen in my life. Really, they have showed off more than I think we were all expecting, and they did a very good job at building excitement. I'm not someone that generally gets excited when I see trailers. I'm very cautious, and I'm being cautious about this, but it definitely struck my interest big time. And I can see all the modern game influences in here. It's not like I'm being fooled or anything, but I'm okay with that. So we'll see. This was a long video. I apologize it's nearly an hour long, but I had to do this justice, right? So thank you so much for watching this. I hope you're excited too. If you're watching this, let me know what your thoughts are and everything and your excitement. Let me know what house you are, all right? I want to know what house you are. Are you a Gryffindor? Are you a Slytherin, a Ravenclaw, a Hufflepuff? I'm a Slytherin. That's I'm a Slytherin. Yeah, that's it. I'm excited. Let me know what your thoughts are. I would love to share the excitement with you. This just makes me happy. It makes me smile. This is what I want to see. I'm very excited for this. Have a great day.